Lecture topic: Humility for Allah.
Humility is something that has been discussed many times. One is humility with people around us, but obviously the main aspect of humility is to humble ourselves totally in front of Allah Ta'ala. And to the extent that a person has humbled himself in front of Allah Ta'ala, to that extent he will progress, he will achieve that special blessings of Allah Ta'ala, and he will be able to be humble with the servants of Allah Ta'ala also. And if he hasn't really humbled himself in front of Allah Ta'ala, then where he's going to be able to even humble himself in front of anybody else? Because then that abdiyat is totally lost, missing. He hasn't even humbled himself in front of Allah Ta'ala. So this abdiyat, this is what is required. The mu'jiza that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was given, Mi'raj, which took him to a point where even Hazrat Jibreel Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had never gone to and could not go to. So that highest point that any makhluk ever went to. But when Allah Ta'ala mentions this journey in the Quran Sharif, Allah Ta'ala mentions it with that sifat and that attribute, Subhanalladhi asra bi abdihi. Allah Ta'ala took his abd. Because Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the greatest abd, he went to the highest point. So to the extent we increase our abdiyat. Now, among the ways of this abdiyat is dua. And one is the very casual manner of dua. The person now sometimes doesn't even know what he's saying. There's some routine, there's some something that has to be done is done. So that obviously is not the dua that brings about this abdiyat. But with utmost humility, regarding himself as totally in need, not just partly in need. Sometimes we feel ourselves just partly in need. We can manage to a point. More than that, now we'll need some help of Allah Ta'ala. We are totally in need. Not for one iota that we have any strength and ability for ourselves. So regarding ourselves as totally in need and repeatedly humbling ourselves in front of Allah Ta'ala and in all earnestness begging of Him. To the extent that this is developed, to that extent this abdiyat will start progressing. Because this will then impact in all other aspects of life. But if a person hasn't even humbled himself in front of Allah Ta'ala in asking Allah Ta'ala, then in other aspects of life also there will be that same manner and way and approach. Well, I'm fine, I don't necessarily need too much from Allah Ta'ala, na'uzubillah. Life is carrying on. So this abdiyat has to be developed, and one of the very effective ways of this abdiyat being developed is this dua. Now, if we take stock of ourselves, how much of the day, even just maybe 5 minutes of the day, is dedicated to this very earnest and very deep-hearted dua in utmost humility. This has to become part, especially in the kind of halat that we are going through. If this also hasn't moved us to start increasing our dua, then this is indeed a very tragic situation. So this should now move us to this. Allah Ta'ala is manifesting His qudrat. The whole world and all its superpowers are all totally at a loss. They have no control, and all those who call themselves superpowers too are the most affected. This is Allah Ta'ala's qudrat being manifested, whatever the background to that might be deemed to be. This is Allah Ta'ala's qudrat being manifested. Now in all this also, a person hasn't developed that humility in front of Allah Ta'ala, hasn't increased his abdiyat or trying to increase it, then indeed this is a very, very great deprivation. So we need to take stock of this, think about it, and try to start dedicating some time for dua, even if it is for a start just a few minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, 5 minutes, but in a very dedicated manner, very humbly, with a lot of complete humility, begging Allah Ta'ala's forgiveness, begging His favors for ourselves, for the entire ummah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है।